Tim Bradley has split with his longtime trainer, Diaz. Now, I'm seeing a lot of people commenting on this particular story, and they're saying stuff like, there's no point in Bradley changing trainers. You're not going to change the type of fighter he is at this stage of his career. An old dog can't learn new tricks and all that kind of stuff. Well, if you actually read what Bradley said and the reasons for the split, then I don't see how you could possibly not support the split. Bradley basically said that Diaz was not giving him enough of his time, that he was off doing other things and he was taking break from camp and what have you, that he just wasn't acting in a very professional manner. This is the reasons that Tim Bradley's given. So it's not necessarily about or just about trying to learn new things or change his style or anything like that. No, it's simple. It's a simple situation where he feels like the trainer is not as committed as he should be. So he's moving on. And most times in boxing, when a fighter changes trainer late in their career, it doesn't really, and I say late in their career, Tim Bradley's not even that old. I mean, how old is he? What, 33, 34? He's still relatively young. But normally when a fighter changes trainers later on in their career, it doesn't really do that much for them because their best days are usually behind them and a trainer can't really turn back the clock in most cases. But other times they can. And you only have to look at Miguel Cotto under Freddie Roach to see a prime example of that. He has been able to turn the clock back for Miguel Cotto, and that was something I never expected, to be honest with you. I did not expect, especially after the Austin Trout defeat, I did not expect to see Miguel Cotto rise to the heights that he's risen to after that. Now, again, people can scrutinize the opposition that he's fought, and over the hill, Sergio Martinez, Daniel Gill, what have you. But nonetheless, I thought he still looked good. And I didn't expect him to be able to get to this stage, middleweight champion and all that, after looking the way he looked in the Austin Trout fight. So fighters can have Indian summers in their careers, and sometimes linking up with a different trainer to switch things up can breathe fresh life into them. And it's not just about what a trainer can teach you from a technical point of view. A lot of the time, it's also about just having a different personality, having a different vibe. Sometimes when you're in the same surroundings with the same people, it can get stale and you can lose that energy that you once had. You can lose the enthusiasm that you once had before. And as I say, it's not all about the technical side of boxing. Sometimes it's also about the fitness element. For example, Derek Chisora is now with a new trainer called Gary Hines, and he seems a lot more happy and bubbly than he did under Don Charles, a guy who I felt like he should have left a long, long time ago. But one thing he said about Gary Hines is that he's not training every day. With Don Charles, he was literally training every day. Ridiculous amounts of grueling, tough training. And in his own way, Derek was basically saying that he was burned out. He was worn out most of the time with Don Charles. So when he got in the ring, he just didn't have the energy and the fire that he'd had in the gym because the sessions were too intense and they didn't have enough rest days. He says now with this new trainer, Gary Hines, they've got a lot of rest days in between the intense sessions. And they have some days where they do very, very heavy sessions, other days where they do lighter sessions. So they're mixing it up. And because of that, he feels a lot more energized in the ring. He's only had one fight, obviously, but even in that one fight, people noticed it. And even in his body language and his demeanor, he seems like the old Derek Chisora again. So that's just one example where a trainer's personality and their training methods, it doesn't always necessarily have to be the technical things they do, but the frequency in which they train you, the type of sessions they do, the rest periods and all that kind of stuff. A trainer really has to know the fighter. He has to know what the fighter needs, what his body needs, how his body reacts to certain things. And like I say as well, a lot of it is just psychological. Sometimes you just need a change. Sugar Ray Leonard, in the latter half of his career, he was with a guy called Pepe Correa, who I've never really rated as a trainer, but in Sugar Ray Leonard's last few fights, he was working with Pepe Correa, and it didn't really work out that well, actually, in the end. But I've heard Ray Leonard talk about fighters changing trainers, and he said the same thing, basically, that sometimes change is necessary. Things get stagnant and stale, not just from a stylistic and a training point of view, but just a psychological, emotional point of view, it can get stale. So when you combine that with the fact that Tim Bradley says his trainer is basically taking a piss, then I can't see any reason why anybody wouldn't support what Tim Bradley's doing and say, yeah, he's doing the right thing. If his trainer's taking the piss, then get someone else. His boxing career is soon over, to be honest, Tim Bradley. This guy's not going to be around that long. He's not a partying type like a Broner or a narcissist like a Mayweather, who's just going to be driven forever because of their narcissistic personality. Tim Bradley's a family man. Yes, he's a fighter. He's got the heart of a fighter. But at the end of the day, this guy is a family man. He's got a wife. He's got kids. He's not the kind of guy to go out partying and all that. He's a homebody. There's only so long a guy like that can be involved in a sport this tough, particularly when he's already taken the amount of punishment he's taken. There's only so long he can do it. Right? He's made a hell of a lot of money now, particularly because of the Pacquiao fights. So he ain't going to be around that long. This is probably going to be his last run at the top level. So why not get a new trainer? I don't see any reason why he wouldn't. If it's his last run at the top, get yourself a new trainer. Let's see what you can do for this last run. You know, I can't see any logical reason why anyone would have any criticism of it. Makes no sense to me. It doesn't mean that he's going to achieve amazing things. It don't matter whether he stays with Yoel Diaz or not. There's no guarantee that he's going to achieve amazing things. But switching it up at this stage of his career, why not? Go ahead and do it. Might as well. There's nothing to lose. He's made loads of money. So why not switch up and just experiment at the end? You know? So that's my take on it, people. Drop your comments in the comment section below. And who do you think would be a good fit for Tim Bradley at this stage? Freddie Roach, maybe? Although Freddie Roach is very offensive-minded, and Tim Bradley's biggest weakness in his career has been trading too much when he does actually have pretty good boxing skills. And we saw that in the Marquez fight, the Junior Witter fight, the Lamont Peterson fight, the Luis Abregu fight. Those are fights which he won on boxing skills. So maybe he should go to a more technical trainer, maybe a Nacho Beristain. Some people have talked about Robert Garcia. Again, he mainly deals with sluggers and what have you. Yeah, just drop your suggestions in the comment section below. Who do you think would be a good guy to train Tim Bradley? And let me know what you think about this story in general. It's happening, I'm out.